Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to NSR Programmer Blockchain Webinar. Today we are we're continuing with functions, but we're looking at view and pure functions. So today we're going to be trying to cover and understand what view and pure functions in Remix Ethereum are. So we learn exactly what view and pure functions are and how they differ, how to write your own view and pure functions with clear code examples. So we're going to look at one example specifically, and then we'll walk through it line by line, like break it down, and then demonstrate after deploying and how to interact with that specific contract. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, again, the objectives: learn what view and pure functions are and how they differ, understand when and why to use view and pure functions. Yeah. So a few key definitions. Function is a small program inside a contract that performs actions or calculations. Then a state variable is data permanently stored on the blockchain within a contract. Then a view function is a function that reads but does not modify the state variables, while a pure function is a function that neither reads nor modifies any state variables. So all the outputs depend only on inputs. Just to say that again, a view function is a function that reads but does not modify the state variables, while a pure function is a function that neither reads nor modifies any state variables. All outputs are dependent only on the inputs. And then another terminology to define is gas. We've covered that in previous sessions. Gas, that's the cost required to perform transactions or computations on Ethereums. View and pure functions cost no gas when called externally, since they do not change the blockchain. Yeah. So there's a code example that we're going to look at. So this is my Solidity file called view pure. I'm just going to start writing the code and then we'll break it down at the end. So define a contract called view at pure. So today's expect today's tutorial to be very quick. Yeah, so this is the simple example, code example for today. We have two functions. One is a view function and the other is a pure function, which is the topic of discussion today. We have a contract named view and pure, like I said, with two functions inside it. One is a view function, the other is a pure function. So line 4, of course, defines that contract. Line 6, unsigned integer 256 public x is equal to 1, declares the state variable called x initialized to 1. The public here declared basically automatically creates a getter function to read the state variable of x. And then the function, which is our view function from line 10, that's function add to x, outside integer of y, public view returns, that declares a view function named add to x. Yeah, the function is called add to x, accepting an unsigned integer y. Public makes it callable from outside and inside the contract. View promises this function will not change the contract state variables, basically, which is x, and then it returns x plus y. And then line 17, from line 12 we're returning the sum of the stored variable x and input y. So it will read x but does not modify it respecting the view constraint. Then the next function, which is a pure function, we have a function add unsigned integer I and unsigned integer j, public pure returns. So it's declaring a function, a pure function called add, taking two unsigned integers, which is I and then j, and then the pure promises this function will neither read nor modify any state variables. And then we're telling it to return I plus j, so it returns the sum of those inputs I and j. All calculation is based solely on inputs. No external state data is accessed. Yeah, so that's it. And then we can compile and then basically interact. Yeah, so after deploying, like we said, whenever you declare the public, Remix automatically sets the getter call basically outside the contract. So add to x, yeah, and then add and then the state variable, the getter call function here. So how can we interact with this? Basically, we can access the state variable, and if we click that and call it, it should return the initial value we set it to. Which is 1. And then if we call add to x, there's an error, so it's expecting an input, right? Because it is a view function, so it can read the state variable and use inputs to compute output. So it's expecting an input. So let's say 5, and remember it's supposed to be of this data type, an unsigned integer 256. So if we add that number there and then call, so I'm expecting what, 6 exactly. So there was this input and then 6. So that's our view function. And then the pure function add. So yeah, just to summarize, the view function reads the state but does not modify it. And then for our pure function, we can input two numbers, let's say 10 and 20, and then call say 30. That is correct. Yeah, so again, in summary, what the pure function does, it neither reads nor writes to the contract state. So once again, a view function can read the state, but it does not modify it. And then the pure function neither reads the state nor modifies it. Use case for a view function, one of the use cases is you can read contract data without changes, and then for a pure function the use state is to compute results based solely on inputs. Yeah. I'm just checking to see if there are any questions in the chat. None currently. Alright, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll be looking at errors in Solidity, and then yeah. So for the topic of functions, we've dealt yeah, that's it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, leave a comment. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed